It's an awesome day. Nice boots. 2, 3. Yay. I guess I'll do a press conference now. All right. Welcome to all our junior members of the press. I always look forward to this. And I just want to say it's great that you get to come here and see what your parents do every day. I want all of you to know something. I want you to know that what your parents do, it's really important. It's very important for our country. Your parents are here upholding and protecting the First Amendment of our country. That's a really big deal, and you should be really proud of your parents for what they do. And we don't always say it, but we're very grateful for what they do. First, on to some business here. I want to highlight an important piece of legislation that the House is working on today. It's H.R. 4, the FAA Reauthorization Act. For families, this will make air traffic and air travel safer and easier. For workers, it's going to make the airline industry more competitive, which means more jobs. For communities, we are improving disaster relief so that they're better prepared for hurricanes and wildfires. And this is a very significant infrastructure bill. This is one of our big infrastructure bills that we plan to bring through here as part of our rebuilding of our nation's infrastructure. As you know, upgrading our infrastructure is one of our top priorities this year. And this bill will help fund critical projects at our airports. I'll spare you the puns about how this bill is ready for takeoff, but it's a good piece of legislation that's going to make people's lives better. And we look forward to getting this done. Lastly, I'd like to say a few things about tax reform. I know that's a big shock to you. This morning, the Labor Department reported that initial unemployment claims fell to their lowest level in over 48 years. Think about this. The Labor Department reported that the initial unemployment claims fell to their lowest level in more than 48 years. This is yet another sign of a healthy job market and a growing economy. I saw firsthand of this on Monday when I was visiting businesses in the 1st District of Wisconsin, the district I represent. One of them was Visions Plastics in Delavan. They do custom injection molding, and because of tax reform, they've already purchased new equipment. This is going to help expand their business. This is going to help bring new workers. This is going to be good for their workers. I also went to Palmer, Hamilton, and Elkhorn. They make furniture for school, cafeterias, and libraries. They're partnering with local schools to recruit and train workers to make sure that they have the right skills. So tax reform is making a real difference for our workers every day. We see bonuses, we see raises, we see better benefits, we see more take-home pay. This economy is thriving, and thanks to tax reform, better days are ahead. Now, do any of you have any questions? Yes. You have to state your name and who you're with, and then ask the question.
My name is Savas Emanuel. I'm with my father, Mikey Emanuel, and my question is, the U.S. has $21 trillion in debt. How do we plan on paying this off? That's a really good question. People like me actually have passed some plans to pay off our debt. Last year we passed Diane Black's budget, which was a budget that if you want to look at the big deal of it all, for your generation, we have programs that we call entitlement programs. And these are programs that people automatically qualify for benefits. And the system we have is an age-based system. What I mean when I say that is, when people retire, they get benefits, and those are the biggest benefits that we offer in this country. They're really important programs, very important benefits. But we're going from 40 million seniors to 77 million seniors. And these are pay-as-you-go programs. Current workers, like your dad, pay current taxes to pay for current seniors. But we've got an almost 100% increase, almost, in retirees, but only a 19% increase in workers coming into the workforce. And these programs grow at much faster pace than inflation. What that means is we're not yet prepared for the baby boomer retirement. And we need to reform those programs so they can make good on the promises that people like your grandparents and my mom have organized their retirement around. But we've got to make sure that they're there for your dad and for you when they retire. And that means we have to reform those entitlement programs. That's what our budget proposed to do. That's what our health care bill last year proposed to do. But unfortunately and regrettably, we haven't gotten these things all the way through law. So we've passed budgets here in the House for many, many years that show how to pay off the debt, how to balance the budget, but those have just passed the House, not the Senate and the President. And that's something that we just have to get done sooner or later, so your generation doesn't get this kind of debt. It's a good question. Yes. I'm sorry, Casey, but you totally outranked me. Yeah.
The earth is warming up. What should we do?
Say that again.
The earth is warming
Oh.
up. What should we do?
I think technology is the best answer to this question. I think we've got what we call bridge fuels like natural gas that are clean and abundant and local that can help us. And that means we need smart people to think of new technologies to make sure that we can be more efficient with our use of energy. And there are a lot of things out there. We call it all of the above. Let's have incentives so that we can create new energy solutions that give us good energy so we don't lose jobs, cheap energy so we don't lose jobs, but also new technologies so that we do things in a cleaner way. And that's what we think is the smart way to do, is innovate. Yeah. Who are you with? What's your name?
My name is Liam and I'm with my mom. And what are you doing on
Liam, you said?
Yes.
It's a great Irish name.
What are you doing with the NRA and the gun violence in Florida?
We passed a bill called the Stop School Violence Act. That bill is now in law. And what that bill does is it helps us give resources to local school districts and law enforcement to better prepare for these kinds of violent acts and to help students in schools get prepared for it. We also passed a bill to close loopholes in the background check system so that people who shouldn't get guns don't get guns. Okay, should I ask? Go ahead, Casey.
Do you think that the EPA Administrator, Scott Pruitt, is fiscally responsible?
I don't know the deep background on the issues surrounding him. That's why we have committee hearings. I think he's over at ENC right now, isn't
He
he?
spent $43,000 on his office when, according to congressional limits, he was only supposed to spend $5,000. He was supposed to ask you before he spent any money.
I'll defer you to the committee of jurisdiction that's doing this oversight, and I'll leave it at that. Chad?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A lot of these questions about the now former nominee Ronnie Jackson, but there are questions about whether or not there was proper oversight of the White House physician's office. Should there be an investigation of that? Does this concern you, these allegations that these prescriptions were being handed out without proper medical procedures?
That's something I assume, is there not an IG that looks into this?
Daddy, hi.
That to me would be the smart way to go, to have an IG look into that. I'm sure the committee of jurisdiction will probably look into that. I don't know whether these allegations are baseless or not. I won't comment on his nomination, other than the fact that he probably did what he thought was in his best interest. I look forward to seeing a new nominee so that we can actually get somebody over at the VA. That's a really important position. But whether or not there's merit to these allegations, we should find out if there's merit to these allegations, and if there are, then the proper oversight should be done. You guys have anything?
You have a question? I have a question.
Yeah.
So with these ongoing problems with Pruitt and Ronnie Jackson and other cabinet nominees that we've seen, is the president draining the swamp? Is he doing enough to vet?
I think he has a pretty good cabinet, actually. I think the president, there are some, I assume, is that Pompeo vote right now? It's like any minute now, if I'm not mistaken.
About 12:45.
Okay, so I think Mike Pompeo is well-suited for the State Department, and I look forward to seeing him get approved. I think we have some stars in this cabinet. Jim Mattis comes to mind. So I think the president, by and large, has put together a pretty darn good cabinet. This is the fourth president I've served with. There's never been an administration that I haven't seen where you have some of these hiccups in the process or with some of the nominees. But by and large, I think the president's put together a pretty darn good cabinet. Yeah. Who you with again?
Jennifer Schott with CQ.
Yeah.
On the Senate side, Republicans and Democrats seem to be coalescing around a floor strategy for fiscal 2019 appropriations bills. Are we going to see that same type of bipartisanship in the House? And what is your floor strategy? For
Yeah,
fiscal
so
2019?
we want to work with the Senate. Mitch and I have talked about this quite a bit lately. We're excited. We have a chair over there who's really eager to get to work. Dick Shelby's, putting together a floor strategy. We're having a meeting with our members tomorrow. What we want to do is try and get appropriation bills in law before the fiscal year deadline. And now that we have our 302A, that's the number that divides all of this up, I think we have a better chance of getting some of these bills into law. And what I would love to see is an actual functioning appropriations process where we pass appropriation bills, go to conference, and the appropriators reconcile those bills and we pass them into law. So that is our ultimate goal. I'm actually excited about a new sense of commitment to this process, and that's exactly right. And and I think it's a good start.
But do you want those to be bipartisan bills? Last year, you guys did that first.
Yeah, I think a lot of these will be bipartisan bills.
Thank you, Mr.
Scott.
Speaker. What names do you think the White House should be considering for VA? There's been,
have
some of
no
your
idea.
colleagues suggested Phil Rowe, the VA chairman, or past chairman Jeff Miller. Any of those folks?
Both of those guys are fantastic leaders. Both of them would make fine ones. I wouldn't want to lose Phil, though. I'd hate to lose him. He's very, very good at what he does right now. But I'm not going to speculate. I have no idea who they're thinking of. I hear there's names floating out there, but I really don't know what they are.
Last question.
I want somebody, yeah.
Do you think it
Did you give her the question? Casey's getting two, basically. Who are you, sweetie?
Claire Brinley,
Oh, hey, Claire.
do you think your kids should be reporters when they grow up?
Do I think my kids should what?
Be reporters when they grow up?
Do I think my kids should be reporters when I grow up? I do if they want to be. I want my kids to do what they want to do when they grow up. Actually, my sister got her journalism degree at University of Wisconsin-Madison. And now she works in the test kitchen for Dunkin' Donuts. Pretty cool job. But she wanted to be a reporter, and she dabbled in that, and she decided to go a different direction. But where I come from, we have a really, really good journalism school. And you guys have any of you UW-Madison? It's a really good journalism school. And so where I come from, we take pride in the fact that we educate really good young people to become good reporters. And so if my kids want to become good reporters, that's fantastic. I want them to do what they want to do.
Can I?
All right, thanks. All right, let's do some photos. Come on, guys.
Hey, Claire. You know what this is? I want you to have a copy. Okay? No comment. I want you to read it, okay? Come on in closer, come on. I got a little girl on the camera. Olivia, right? Yeah. Come on, Olivia. Yeah, just come right here. Come on, you guys gotta get in touch. Yeah, there you go. Who's this?
That's Andrew.
Okay, look, kind of in the middle here in the pile, right? Smile, y'all. Everybody say go tax reform. How about repeal and replace? Keep it PG, all right? Go tax reform. It's super cool. You do? What kind do you have? Is it sugar-free, so your teeth don't?
Yeah, right.
Did you have that conversation with you? Cool. Everybody good?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's right.
Now we'll